What is going on out there in the Retro Bowl universe? I am Aloof Balloon, and tonight is the third installment of the RBA podcast, Alliance After Dark. I am very excited for this episode, everyone. I've got two guests that I've been itching to get on this podcast. First up, we've got the two-time Premier League champion and the owner of who I think is the greatest quarterback of this league, Chicago Rams. How you doing, Chicago?
Yo, what's up, Aloof?
Good
Happy
to
to be on the podcast.
Yeah, glad to have you here, man. We're going to be talking about Doll of the Night, so get ready.
Oh, I'm ready to talk about him.
We've also got the yin to my yang, the sweet to my sour. He has the same name as me, but I'm telling you, this guy does it a heck of a lot better justice. Aloof Tiger. How's it going, Tiger?
Great, Aloof. Fellow Aloof.
Fellow Aloof, but a much better Aloof. You're the premier Aloof to my inferior Aloof. This guy right here has been promoted 2 straight seasons, and he's only been in the league 2 seasons. So nice job, buddy.
By barely.
Promotion is promotion. So, guys, just to jump into it a little bit, there's been some new league rules that got unveiled today. The first one is a 2-week submission schedule. What do you guys think about that? Why don't you start, Chicago?
I like it. I mean, it gives people more time to get their scores in, so we could actually have the right scores. And
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I mean, I think it's great, but I'm worried that it's going to slow down the momentum of the league. I kind of like that it's every week you've got a new season. Maybe you had a horrible season, your quarterback was injured for 5 games, and it kind of just gives you that feeling of like, okay, I can turn this thing around. Now we got to sit and wait for 2 weeks. I don't know, Tiger, what do you think, buddy?
I think it's both ways, honestly. To your point, like you're saying that if you have an injured quarterback, you can't really do much in that situation. But at the same time, I feel like that what Chicago's Rams previously said that it gives much more time to people that may not have an open schedule as the rest of the league or have something happen to them or anything like that. But I think it's 50-50 for me. I mean, I like it and I think that it's good for everyone and pretty fair. But at the same time, I do have worries that it will slow down the league in terms of getting scores in and telling people, like you need to get it in and all that. So, yeah, that's my.
And speaking of that, I mean, you're a captain, right? You're still the Foundation League captain, and
Yes. And
that's a big part of your responsibility, right? To get on to get on people and whip them into shape.
yeah, with this new scheduling system, it does less work for me, but I would be rather more prepared to just hammer the times. But it's less work for me and other captains, so I think it's a good thing overall.
And I know what the council members are trying to do, right? So with the 2 week submission schedule, they're obviously also a little concerned with, again, that momentum and that activity that we were talking about. And so what they actually have also introduced today, which I think is really a cool concept, is an esports league where there looks like there's going to be 5 players, that's actual RBA players, are going to be on a team with a GM or an owner, and they'll have a budget with a dollar amount tied to each player. So, for instance, Aloof Balloon, me, right? I'm worth $291, which is, I think I'm a little overpriced. But I'll take it. Aloof Tiger, you're 274, so you're actually undervalued in my opinion. Again, you've been promoted twice, and I'm more expensive than you. I don't know what I'm doing right, but there, there it goes. And then Chicago Rams, buddy, you are fifth in the whole league, $737 for your services. Of course, Bobcats, who's the defending champ, is worth 814. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at that, but I think that's a pretty cool concept, this esports league.
Sounds fun. Sounds interesting.
yeah, I got a chance to look at it. I was like, I saw it and I texted Red Jackets or Royals now that I wanted to jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I think an esports league is a pretty cool concept, and these types of little activities, these events that these guys are trying to do now. Again, with that 2 week submission schedule, I think it's going to be fantastic. I don't know what other things they've got planned, but I think that's a great idea. It's going to keep people involved. I definitely want to be an owner, so I'm taking my services. I'm pushing them out. I want to build a team, and I'm going to try and draft both of you guys. How about that?
Yeah, I'm down.
Sounds great.
I need Dahl on my team, Chicago Rams. That guy is a beast.
Happy to bring my service.
I don't want to track the conversation, but I gotta know, man. I mean, this guy throws like 150 touchdowns this season. What is your secret? I have to give me something. I can't throw half that in a season. So what are you doing differently?
I mean, it's not really a secret. I mean, have you seen Marching Ants videos? I kind of play like that, but
Yeah,
I just let my wide receivers take.
he's got some great videos out there. I don't know if you had a chance to see him, Aloof Tiger, but yeah, Marching Ants is he's got some great videos that really show how to play. I mean that's how you play it, Rams. You just take sideline throws and deep balls every now and then.
Yeah, I pretty much just get what I could get. Sideline throws, long throws, just whatever.
I usually pay attention to how the routes are gonna go. I don't usually have a style for me. I just kind of like throw as is, but I do use the sideline method a lot. A lot. I will tell you that.
So what do you guys use for your offense? So I used to do a quarterback with a tight end and running back, and then I played around with like a receiver. And the best season I've had was this season, and I have a wide receiver. I'm sorry, I have two wide receivers and a quarterback. I mean, do you guys do anything like that, or anything exotic like offensive linemen or anything?
I usually, for my squad, I think I have one quarterback and two wide receivers, and then the rest is stacked with defense. I usually go for defense a lot just to make sure I get more scores. But yeah, that's how I go with.
For me, I just use quarterback, two wide receivers, and this season I started a tight end, and the rest is defense.
And before the podcast, we were getting into it a little bit, Aloof Tiger, about on the defensive side. You said you think linebackers are basically useless, which I was surprised to hear that. I thought linebackers might be probably the best defense of player to have because it can guard the run and the pass, but you seem to think that it's not, huh? I thought that was interesting.
It just depends because I am currently in three leagues and I'm in the college one, this one, and the NFL one. And I've had linebackers for a straight 2 or 3 seasons, and it flip flops. They could be great on one season. You have interceptions up a storm, tackles, all that. But then another season they could be flip flop and do terrible, and then you're like deciding, oh well, this season is basically a bust. I don't know. For me, it's a different experience. I heard other people think linebackers are great, but usually I only have now about 1 to 2 linebackers with my squad, and then I just do a defensive line and defensive backs for the rest.
For me, linebackers always do good. They always pile on the sacks and the interceptions, hit a lot of tackles every season.
See, that's what I'm
Um,
saying, man. It's like it's too sporadic, man. It's like I was telling Aloof Tigers before the podcast. There's games where I'll give up maybe 6 points, and I'm just dominating. And then the very next game, I'll give up like 24 points, and I've done nothing differently. It's the same players, and I'm basically playing the game the same way. I mean, game to game. I That's the only thing I don't like is the inconsistency um, on the defensive side. And I have no control over that. So I'm trying to find like the best formula of players, but I got two guys telling me two different things now, so it just goes to show. I don't think any of us know what the best combination is.
Not really. I just go at it with the mindset of I'm trying to get the most defense and the most effective to get the most scores. So I really don't know what the formula is. Obviously, this season showed that.
yeah, me too. I just pile up defense and see what they could do.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you guys. So another thing I wanted to bring up that the league has newly unveiled is that the allowing of swipes. So right now, at least of the current update, there's no way to track if a person has swiped or not. But in the next week, maybe 2 weeks, there's going to be a new update that will allow you to tell if a player has swiped. And it sounds like our league, the RBA, is going to allow up to 5 swipes. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Because I know that that was kind of contentious. I mean, some people were saying nobody should be allowed to swipe. A couple guys were saying, what does it matter? I just want to get your thoughts on that.
I feel like it's a good rule. I mean, it's gonna get make it more the league more competitive and all that. Not having people in the 800s and stuff like that.
The scores are really going to decrease, I feel like, in every single league that puts in swiping rules, because a lot of the people now in the college league, not to bring that up a lot, but we're currently deciding on what we should do. So we're doing 10 swipes in medium, which is something that we're putting into this season. Don't know if it'll last, but a lot of people are still arguing about this swipe thing, and it basically brought up a real big topic. So I feel like that swiping is a good thing for everyone, because a lot of people don't have the time to keep on swiping over and over again to get at least like 10 plus more. So yeah, it's a good thing and a bad thing for some people, but to me it's a good thing.
So,
And I feel like 5 swipes is a good number of swipes because like sometimes you have to get off the game to do something.
right.
So
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great point, Chicago. I agree too. I mean, it's obviously not so intense where you can't do any swiping, but it gives you a nice cap on it. I agree with that. Aloof Tiger, do you run the college league? It sounds like you said we're deciding. So are you on a council there?
I am currently the Mid American Conference commish on there, but yeah, we've been arguing back and forth over the difficulty. A lot of people feel like that dynamic, because that's what we usually go for, is kind of unfair in a way, because if you say if you had a bad season or a really good season and you don't win the what is it, retro bowl, you get stuck at dynamic 9, and that's a huge advantage to other people that are going like 700 on dynamic 16, and they just like dominate still. But if you're on dynamic 9, it's basically medium difficulty. So that's what we're having a lot of difficulties with in the college league, because a lot of them, I can tell you right now, swipe at least over 100 times. And this new update, I feel
Jeez.
like most people are gonna really be mad, because it's really gonna show when it comes out.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's crazy. I, and the other thing too is so they play on dynamic difficulty. I mean, I could see that definitely being abused, like you said. That's why I like our league where we set it at hard. I mean, hard is hard, but you can still go 16-0. I mean, even if I can go 16-0, I'm telling you, man, anyone can go 16-0 on hard. So I kind of like that we keep it across the board, everyone on the same difficulty.
It's kind of hard too with these especially with the dynamic difficulty, because we have a lot of new people coming in all the time, that want to be on our wait list and get in, and they're usually on, if they get a good draft and basically, I don't know, like a somewhat decent rehab facility, they can put up big numbers just like the big guys, and they'll be on dynamic 1, which is easy, and then they go up about 2 every time, so they could put up a really big season their first season and just win it all. So that's what's kind of we've been debating about, is it fair for someone to be on dynamic 16 and be at the top, or someone to just join and then have a good squad and then make it at the top still. So we're just trying to decide on difficulty. So that's
Gotcha.
been a big topic.
I gotcha. Then Chicago, do you play any other leagues, or you just strictly RBA?
I'm just strictly RBA. I didn't even know there were leagues until I joined the RBA.
Yeah, I think other leagues, what they do, I think most other leagues don't even have a Discord channel. They certainly don't have podcasts and news centers and all that. They do all of their playing and management of the league through Twitter, actually, as I understand it.
Yeah, the most leagues I'm in don't have anything like the RBA, which is fascinating.
So that said, I mean, Chicago, why don't you start? How did you get involved with the league? When did you get involved?
Uh, I was like one of the first people to join. I think one of the first 15 maybe. One day I was just scrolling through Twitter and saw that the official Retro Bowl Twitter retweeted them. I started to follow them, and they DM'd me saying if I wanted to join, and I joined just because I wanted to see what it was all about.
And the legend was born. I mean, I know I sound like a fanboy, Chicago, but I mean, like, I was really excited for you to be here to get to talk to you because you are such a fixture in our league, man. I mean, you do an incredible job. Now, you had a down year last year. You made me look stupid. You know, you didn't have a great season, but I'm sure you'll be back up on top in no time. Um, let's talk a little bit about that award show last season. Don't know if you saw, but Deshaun Dahl, who's your quarterback, who again I've always said is like the Tom Brady of the league, kind of got shafted a little bit. I don't know if you got a chance to look at that. He lost to a guy that only scored about 60 touchdowns the entire season.
Yeah, I saw that. I was really confused, honestly, because he did the two he lost to got sacked 20 times also, and I don't know, it's whatever. He wins. He always wins. What's a losing ones?
I like it, man. So that's the other thing. You just brought up sacks. I mean, so do you not get sacked very often?
I mean, no, I found a way to like just throw the ball before he gets sacked, before the defenders could get to him.
You got to start posting, man. I got to see you on YouTube. I have to see a video of you posting, like just playing, because watching you, watching Ents, Red Jackets, who like you said is Royals now, and Legionnaires and all these guys. I mean, it's been like really helpful to watch because I suck at this game. I mean, Aloof Tiger can tell you that he's seen me in action, but uh, just getting the chance to see you guys play, it helps me and seeing what you guys are doing differently. So if you start posting, man, let me
Yeah,
know. Let me know when you get on there.
I'll try to start posting some videos maybe next season when I have the time.
There you go. And you're the two-time champion, so I think that's you're the only guy that's actually won it twice. Am I right? I think so.
Yeah, I am. But Bobcats might win it twice this year.
Yeah,
I'm
he's on.
calling it.
He's on fire this year, man. I know. I've been watching the scores. It's just nuts what these guys are doing, including you, man. So another rule play, just to jump back into it, guys. Another rule that got rolled out, which I thought was really interesting, is that players are going to now be penalized a certain percentage of their points based on how late they are at submitting. So if they don't submit at all, obviously they get a zero. And after I think two submissions of zero, you get automatically kicked from the league, which I get, and I think that makes a lot of sense, especially with the 2 week submission schedule now. But if you miss a day, you even start losing some points. I think it's 50 points to start. I don't know if you guys have any problems, especially you, Aloof Tiger, with you having to stay on top of everyone, but it seems like submission scores are at about 80, 85%. Uh, what do you guys think about that rule?
Well, coming from the captain's perspective, I think it's great. Um, Especially whenever guys, I usually type in the chat about every 3 hours to remind guys of the scores, but it just kind of, especially with this new weekends or the week schedule, I mean, with the 2 weeks, I believe that it will be like, I think it's fair for the 50 points to be deducted because, especially if you have no warning before, and I'm really appreciative of the foundation guys that gives a warning before if they can't get in scores or anything. But with the 2 week schedule, I believe that anybody can get in scores, especially if I do it and then I alert everyone about every 4 hours. So yeah, that's what I think about it. I think it's fair.
And then as an aside, just to kind of get off of the RBA a little bit, I know you guys said you're both busy tomorrow. If you don't mind sharing, Aloof Tigers, what is it that you do for a living? Let's jump into that a little bit.
Oh yeah, I work under a restoration company, Serve Pro. I am kind of an underling right now because I just kind of started. I would say I'm just a technician at the point. I do remediation, I do item restoration, I do anything that basically is needed to be done at my place. So yeah.
You ever get in any sticky situations there? I mean, that's got to be a nasty job, I would think. Tearing down
I
mold or
had
anything like that,
this
or what are you getting into?
I had this one job that we went to, and personally, I am kind of allergic to, animals, which is not a good thing to be in this
I was gonna say that's
position.
yeah, that's a terrible thing to
Yeah,
be.
but I usually take some kind of like, I don't know what they call it, but it helps out with allergies. So I go into this house expecting, it's not that bad. The call was for, like a few cats. Somebody went out of their town for a few weeks, and cats apparently ruined it, and dogs, and there's a whole bunch of situations. So I go in there, and it's, oh my god, it's so bad. Um,
How many
the
cats?
couches
How
are
many
great.
cats did they have? I mean, I've got a couple. I've had cats and left them home, and I didn't need someone
I
called in.
think, I think it was about 12 cats, maybe 5 dogs,
It-
and that's the only job that I really didn't like. I couldn't finish because I told them I was like, I'm having personal, like health issues, and
yeah.
I just can't be on this job, and
You
I'm
ever
sorry.
you ever listen to Red Comets? Red Comets. He's a player, obviously in our RBA. Have you ever seen any of his YouTube videos he's posted? I think he lives on a.
No, I haven't actually.
I think he lives on a farm because literally because he's had cats, he's had chickens, multiple cats, multiple chickens on his on his live stream. You'll hear in the background like chickens and stuff like that. But and so
The
anyway,
thing is with
yeah.
this job is that they, not to interrupt you, but they legit left for about 6 months, I think, and
Whoa.
they left them there. So all that pee, all that poop, we had to remove all of that, and then proceed to clean everything else that was dirty, and it was not good. It was not good for
Is
me
is
at
this
all.
is this a an apartment or a house?
Sorry, you just came in. It was a house.
Phew.
Yeah, bad.
So now what happened? Did you guys get rid of all the animals, or did they come back home, or what happened there?
Some of them died because
Whoa.
I don't. Yeah, it was bad. Some of them died, and then some of them were in poor condition, and they just got removed from the house. They went to a local shelter, but other than that, yeah, it was pretty sad to see them like that for 6 months.
Jeez, man, could you imagine the smell too? I mean, that's like I said, I've had cats and dogs, not as many as that, but if you don't clean that litter box, man, or if you don't take those dogs outside, oh, dang, I can only imagine. That's incredible work. What about you, Chicago? What do you do, Chicago, if you don't mind me asking?
Right now I work with my dad. We're putting up drywall in a hotel, so yeah, that's why I had to wake up early tomorrow, and I
Uh,
stay there late too. So
why? That's pretty cool, man. I have none of those types of skills, so I give you all the credit in the world. If you want, if you want to come take a drive to Detroit, I got a basement that needs drywalling. So I'm putting it off because I have no idea how to do it. So do you do like
I mean, it's really not that hard.
you say
I
that?
would contact a professional.
I'm contacting Chicago Rams. So you guys do like do you guys do hotels or do you guys do residential? You do every or all of it?
We do anything. I mean, it's just whatever.
Dang. That's pretty cool, man. I again I couldn't do any of that stuff. I have none of those skills whatsoever. So it's funny. I think that's what maybe we should do. Maybe we should start a business, you guys. I mean, it sounds like Aloof Tiger can clean out all the crap, all the poop, all the asbestos, and then
Yes.
and then Chicago Rams sounds like you could put up all the drywall. We might have a business here, guys. Let's get off this podcast and let's talk shop.
The Aloof drywall and rest.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. The Aloof Rams drywall and remediation group. Exactly. Now, have you guys, speaking of traveling or anything like that? I mean, what's it been like, just with everything going on? Have you guys been able to do any traveling or anything like that?
with the with my side, not really, because I'm in currently in New York, and we still are on lockdown, so it's not very wise to go out at this point. But we usually just mostly do our town, and that's about it. That's the only jobs we really get right now. But we usually go out of town sometimes whenever we don't have a global pandemic going on.
I mean, yeah, me, I don't go anywhere unless it's to like somewhere far for a job or anything. I haven't really traveled outside of.
Are hotels still open to Chicago? I would think that they're closed right now. I mean, around you.
No, it was a brand new built hotel.
Nice. Hopefully they give you some like free vouchers or something, right? Like something like 2 free nights at least for your trouble. I mean, jeez, Pete.
They better. I mean,
There you
we're
go.
it's gonna take like all summer. You better get.
A free one room.
Did you say a furry? Like those
No, I said a free
Oh.
room, like free rent.
I was gonna say
like
I was
free.
I was gonna stop the podcast right there. I thought you said a furry, which
No.
if you don't know what a furry is and you're listening to this podcast, do not Google it. Do not look it up. You'll get the FBI called on you. So I thought
You will go down the biggest rabbit hole in history.
yeah. You think that the story that Aloof Tiger just told about animals in a room all dying and pooping and peeing at each other was bad? Google furries, and you'll see it's a little bit worse. All right, Aloof Tiger. So, you know, part of the reason I brought you on was to publicly shame you a little bit. I thought you had a great name, Aloof Typhoon. It was fantastic. What made you change it to Tiger so quickly? What happened?
Well, um, to kind of avoid the extra work because right now I am Princeton in another league,
Okay.
and I thought, well, if I just changed my name to Aloof, but the only reason why I did it is less work, and I would be willing to go back to Aloof Typhoon,
So pure
especially if I win this season.
pure laziness, pure aloofness.
Pure laziness.
Wow, man.
Pure aloofness.
Pure
Yes.
aloofness. All right. Well, hey, you know what? It's cool. Tiger's cool, but I feel like saying aloof tiger is disrespectful to tigers. Not that I'm like a tiger king of by any sorts, but it was a weird change, man. And I liked the aloof typhoon, if I can say. But right on, dude. And then Chicago Rams. What was your inspiration for that? I don't know that there's Rams in Chicago. I've been to Chicago. I don't think they've got any kind of animals other than maybe like squirrels or something. What was your thought?
Yeah, they definitely don't have Rams over here. Uh, it was just I live in Chicago, and my high school mascot was a ram, so I just put those two together.
All right, so we had a little bit of a technical difficulty. I got that 5G now, so blame that. I'm probably going to get cancer too, because I know that's a big thing with 5G, but we're back online. They say it does, man. I mean, I don't know any of the science behind it, but Facebook said that it causes cancer, so that's a pretty good news source, I think. So that's where most of my news comes from.
Facebook is always right.
Yeah, I mean, it's never wrong, so, the only alternative would be that it's right.
Sometimes I really don't like Facebook because they could announce a celebrity's dead, but in real life they could be, alive and well. So I don't really use Facebook for news much.
Now, do you guys follow any other sports? You guys mainly football oriented? Do you guys watch basketball or hockey, baseball, anything like that?
I'm a baseball and basketball fan. I follow those two sports.
Chicago Rams. I feel sorry for you, man. I don't know how old you are, but I'm gonna make a judgment call and say that I think you were probably too young to see the Jordan Bulls, and I'm telling you, man, you missed out on some of the greatest basketball ever in Chicago history.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't miss out on it.
Oh,
And look who you got
man.
now.
I mean, I'm gonna guess also that you probably got to see Derrick Rose a little bit, but yeah, I mean, the Jordan Bulls, man, that was some kind of basketball. You missed out on that one.
Yeah, I got to see D Rose when he was in his prime, but I didn't get to see Michael Jordan.
He plays over here now, Derrick Rose. Him and his busted kneecaps. Poor guy.
Oh yeah, he is in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Forgot about.
Yeah. Everyone forgets about Detroit, so I don't feel bad for you. That's
We're kind of in the same boat.
Oh,
Our sports team.
don't
kinda
give me
suck.
that. Chicago. Everyone always talks about Chicago. Everyone loves Chicago. It's Detroit that gets missed. New York. Everyone talks about New York. This is the third guy, by the way, that I've had on that has ties to New York. I don't know why this league is so New York oriented, but Aloof Tiger, you're the third guy now that has ties to New York. It's insane.
I just think it's insane how some people from like Europe and France are in here now
Yeah.
because they were turning in scores, and I was like, "Wow, you're actually from France?" I was like, "I don't even know how that works." For me, you have so much different time.
Yeah, it's like a 6 to 12 hour difference. I know it's nuts. Although what's crazy is there was a guy on here for about 3 days that literally lives 2 miles down the street from me, and I was like, oh hey man, what's going on? I live right down the street from you, and he disappeared completely. I must have scared him off. I feel bad, but I would have thought we were probably the closest in actual proximity. Anything else you want to share with us, Luke Tigers? While I got you here.
Nothing much. If anybody is listening to this, just watch out. I'm coming for that eighth seed, like I usually do in every ultimate or foundation or in champions.
I was gonna say you are the overachiever there, man. You always get that upset in the first round. So
I do,
whether
which is
it's beating me by 1 point after we scored 6 and 5, which the most pathetic scores ever.
I thought you were gonna win that one. To be honest, I was really, really scared about.
I was more upset that I didn't win the championship, but it was nice to see you win it. So no hard feelings there. How about you, Chicago Rams? Anything for us
Thanks.
before we wrap up?
Nothing much. I don't think this season's gonna be that big for me.
And before we go, you had a down season. Like I said last season. What anything different happened there? Did you get hit with the injury bug?
No, it was just the defense. They couldn't stop the other team, so I had.
Yeah, maybe those linebackers are letting you down. All right, guys.
I don't know. It's dumb, but
Exactly. All right, guys. Before we go, I do want to put out to the listeners again, like I did last time. Please, if you can, get on the RBAlliance.net website. There's links to the league Patreon account. Any kind of donation you can make gets funneled right back into the league, allows us to do really cool events. There's a lot of great stuff that's coming out from the council that I don't want to share, that they will share in the next couple of days. There's also a website that I'll put in the comment section below that you can check out. It's all this merchandise that Red Jackets / Royals has set up. Some really cool stuff. There's a coffee mug that I ordered that I'll definitely be drinking from, and a lot of good stuff out there. And then last but not least, of course, is the Discord. That's the main place where all of us are congregating. If you guys can boost that channel, it helps with different things like recording this audio, for instance. So please, anything you can do is greatly appreciated. Chicago Rams, Aloof Tiger, thank you very much for joining this podcast. I apologize if the connection was so shoddy. But again, I greatly appreciate you guys taking the time. Get some rest. Got a big day tomorrow of drywall and dog poop. Thank you guys very much. RBA Alliance. Take it easy, buddies. Peace.